from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Murphy. Thanks for joining us here for ABC4 News at 10. Now we begin tonight following developing news from overnight out of Taylorsville, where a police shooting has left a man in his 30s in critical condition. That shooting happened late last night in a neighborhood near 44th South and 22nd West between Salt Lake Community College's Redwood Road campus and Taylorsville Elementary. That's where we find ABC4's Annika Johns this evening. Now, Annika, what are police telling us about the case at this time?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Police have identified the male as 34 to 35-year-old Alex Boren, who was visiting a friend's home when he experienced some form of a mental episode.
It started as a mental health call. Taylorsville police got a call late last night to come de-escalate a man in crisis.
The original call that came in for the officers was that there was a male that was inside a home having some type of a mental episode and was also suicidal.
Police say Alex Boren was visiting a friend in their home at the time, but the visit took a turn for the worst. It was the homeowner who ended up having to call the police.
He was armed with a knife. He was inside the house. He was destroying property, and he was also causing some self-inflicted wounds to himself.
Details of the confrontation with Boren are limited, but Taylorsville police say they used a taser and 40mm rounds as less lethal forms of restraining Boren, but ultimately the call ended in gunfire. Officers there shooting Boren.
The officers went into the home. They contacted the male inside the home with originally multiple less lethal options that were not effective, and ultimately officers discharged their firearm and the male was taken into custody.
Police say the officers trained in dealing with mental health episodes were on scene.
We have officers that are trained in CIT and in mental health, and there were officers on scene that were CIT officers, yes.
Police continued saying that these kinds of situations are dynamic and hard to predict.
A lot of times people in crisis are unpredictable, and that's why we have less lethal options and things like that can hopefully help with that sort of thing. But they're unpredictable. That's the hard part about it. None of them are the same.
Police also advise anyone who knows someone who may suffer from a mental health episode to contact those trained to help.
I think the best thing that they can do is contact the crisis line. Salt Lake County has a crisis line. There are several that they can get them help. And I think that's what the person in this situation was trying to do, to get their friend from ultimately hurting themselves.
At this time, police don't know how many rounds were shot, but 2 officers are currently on leave while the investigation continues. Boren was taken to the hospital where he remains in critical condition. Reporting live from Taylorsville, Annika Johns, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Annika. Now, if you or a loved one is in a mental health crisis or struggling with thoughts of suicide, help is out there. You can always call 988 to reach the National Crisis Hotline. In Ogden, police are looking for the person who pulled the trigger in a deadly shooting, and they're asking for your help. That shooting happened on Tuesday, March 14th on Child Avenue between 29th and 30th Street. Police found 34-year-old Robert Bien of Ogden there with gunshot wounds. Officer attempted to help, but Bien died of his injuries. Detectives are still looking for tips to help solve the crime. They're asking for witnesses or anyone with footage that might be helpful to the investigation to call that number you see on the bottom of your screen. We turn now to Utah County and a warning from BYU campus police. Officers are asking students to be on the lookout for a man who shouldn't be on campus entering a woman's dorm. Take a look at your screen. Police say they got a call about this man trespassing in a female resident hall of Helaman Halls on Friday morning. Now, details are limited right now, but they say he may have stolen several items of women's clothing. He's described as being about 40 years old and standing about 5 feet and 10 inches tall. They say he has darker skin and doesn't shave. He was last seen in light brown baseball hat, Levi's, and a dark brown hoodie. For now, police are encouraging students to travel in groups and report anything suspicious. If you recognize this man or any details that might be helpful, you're encouraged to call police. In a weather alert, a ski patrol in the backcountry of Little Cottonwood Canyon caught a small avalanche on camera. Take a look. They started rolling on this run because they thought the snow might come loose. The slide ended up being a foot deep, 50 feet wide, and ran about 800 feet. Luckily, that skier is safe, but it's a good reminder to be careful up there in the backcountry. Checking in on your pinpoint weather forecast with meteorologist Nate Larson. Now, Nate, we made it through the week. What can we expect to see over the next few days in terms of weather?
We'll have sunshine to kick off Sunday, but there are going to be some changes brewing early in the afternoon for some. So that's going to break down what we're expecting to see. A beautiful day today, though. We had a lot of photos come in showing off the snowpack, of course, and the sunshine that we saw. Another view from Sundance. Chris Williams captured this one. Had a great video he sent in as well. Scott Taylor just past Sundance, Aspen Grove Campground, showing off the snow covering the cabins. Just a tremendous amount. Look how high the snow piles are as well compared to the roof line. Just a tremendous amount of snow. About 14.5, 15 feet almost is the base at some of our higher ski resorts. So just incredible amounts of snow. Satellite radar showing more moisture on the way. The mountains will see more snowfall as we get into this week. The storm system will move into the southern part of the state first and then move into northern Utah throughout the late afternoon and evening. So out the door forecast for Sunday. Breezy winds tomorrow. Southwest flow is going to bump our temperatures up a little bit from today. Should be about 48 at noon. We'll have some clouds building in, especially in the late afternoon and evening. 54 degrees. Rain showers expected late in the afternoon, if not just by the evening hours, depending on which model we're looking at. But plan on moisture increasing Sunday night into Monday. In fact, we've got winter weather advisories that go into effect as well. We'll talk about how much snow is going to pile up in our mountain areas with the details coming up. Sarah?
Today marks the 3-year anniversary of one of the biggest earthquakes in our state's modern history. On March 18th, 2020, that 5.7 magnitude earthquake centered just north of Magna rocked northern Utah and the Salt Lake Valley. The earthquake knocked out power to tens of thousands of people, damaging buildings in Salt Lake, Magna, and beyond. Now, FEMA has since provided Utah with millions of dollars to repair. Our state continues to prepare for the next big quake. Now, this is what it looked like inside our news studios. You could see the moment the quake hit right at 7:09 a.m. The studio lights started shaking and our staff went running for cover. If you're wanting tips to prepare for the next big expected quake, you can check the website listed at the bottom of your screen. And in developing news, the bomb squad is investigating reports of a mysterious boom in Draper early this morning. According to Draper City, a sound echoed in Salt Lake County around 1 a.m. Police reportedly sped to the scene but found nothing out of the ordinary at first. Today, Draper Police and Salt Lake County's bomb squad scoped out the area a second time after a hiker reported finding evidence of a possible explosion. We spoke to a Draper resident who witnessed it all.
Noticed a large flash go off, which is atypical. I've lived in the neighborhood for a few years. And after I saw the flash, I got out of bed and looked up the hill and then heard a boom.
Ian Gillespie says he noticed a smoke plume in the air shortly after, and that this event left him and his neighbors unsettled. City officials have confirmed the explosion was not related to any Geneva rock mine or Rocky Mountain power operations. Draper City says there's no threat to the public, but do ask that people stay out of the area. With cost of food products increasing, the need for food bank donations is going up. Today, ABC4 News learned how faith leaders and community volunteers are working together to fight hunger here in Utah. It was a busy morning at Utah Food Bank in Salt Lake.
Today is a day that we are calling Feed Utah.
Utah Food Bank workers, representatives from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and community volunteers worked together to collect, organize, and distribute food donations.
One group can't do it all. It takes all of us, and we need to work diligently throughout the year, not just today.
This year, that number of those in need going up. Utah Food Bank mates 1 in 9 children are facing hunger.
But it doesn't matter the age or the location. The fact is people in Utah shouldn't go without.
A topic so big, Utah Governor Cox addressed it earlier this week.
It is a systemic problem. And of course, with inflation, it's gotten worse over the past year.
With every donation, Governor Cox and volunteers say it makes a difference.
My wife and I, when we were starting out, 2 little kids still in school, trying to make ends meet, it was a real struggle for us. this. And there is nothing wrong with needing help, asking for help.
I think it's easy for us, if you haven't experienced hunger, to wonder about these kinds of days. During the holiday season, people love to give. On a special day like today, people love to give. You'll see school projects or church projects, but every single day someone is hungry in Utah.
Utah Food Bank workers say the number of those in need went up during the pandemic and stays high because of inflation. If you're interested in helping, you can find more information on abc4.com. And in other news, Utah's Hogle Zoo is giving people the chance to enjoy some art on the wild side. Today was the zoo's 30th annual World of the Wild art show. The exhibit highlights artists who focus on animals and nature. They had submissions from 84 artists across the state of all ages, including some of the zoo's very own animals. Now, some of the artists tell us it was their first time showing off their work with animals publicly.
It just kind of makes me feel proud looking at it.
There's some amazingly talented artists here in Utah. It was a really neat experience to get to visit with some of them last night and to just see some of this other art. It's incredible the talent that people have.
Artists will donate a portion of the proceeds to the zoo's local and global wildlife conservation efforts. Now, if you want to support the zoo but you weren't able to make it down today, they'll be selling some of their art online until Friday the 24th. And coming up here on ABC4 News at 10, former President Donald Trump claims he could be arrested next week. Hear why he thinks that could happen and how those close to him are responding.
All right, we've got a look at Deer Valley this evening. If you didn't see the fresh snow, we didn't get any today. We've got more on the way. Fresh powder days coming up this next week. I'll break down how much is going to pile up in our mountain areas. Details after the break.